First of all, I don't want it to be called silver missionary. to be called young missionary, I have my hair dyed. So, please accept my struggle and effort. Please call me just missionary or young missionary. I intend to go to Africa secretly, but I am found it to be found by God's people. I accept this as God's will for me to work hard. It is God's chill and God's push for Christ and His kingdom. I really accept and made up my mind again to work hard. Here is my short testimony and prayer topics. I am the vine, you are the branches. If you remain in me and in you, you will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing. John 15:5. I will retire from my life as a step shepherd in Korea and begin a new life as a shepherd in Africa. I realized it was very hard to turn the leadership of Namsan UBF to Shepherd Elisha Kim, a new director, as long as I stayed in Korea. I also perceived that it was time in UBF history for younger shepherds to take a more leadership role. I started the pioneering ministry of Donggum University in March 1972. When Dr. Rhee told me to pioneer the school, I didn't know the school's location. Shepherd Joshua Lee showed me a rental flat by the school, and that's when I first visited the campus as well. The rental property was an old wooden two-story structure that was built during the Japanese occupancy. When I told the landlord that the size of our meeting would be about 10 people at a time, he refused to rent it to me, saying, if 10 people go into the tilted second floor, the whole house will collapse. So I promised him I would not let more than 5 people in at a time, and he agreed to sign the contract. That's how Namsan UBF ministry began in a shabby second floor unit. I used to have Sunday worship service at 3 p.m. and often nobody showed up for worship service. I would look at the clock on the wall as the time was ticking through 3:30, and then 4. As I was checking the time, my heart was sinking. And finally, I would get up and go visit the ship. If I meet them at their house, I would deliver the Sunday message right there. However, I didn't even get to do that very often, since I rarely caught them. So I often returned to the center alone in despair and sometimes even shed a few tears. The major ministry has grown in the last 40 years. We have a 6-story church building and student dormitories under construction. There are many co-workers who are willing to give up anything for God's ministry. Over 100 missionaries were sent out from our ministry, and 3 staff shepherds are serving their own ministries in Danggu, Jungang, and the Sungsil universities. 2 more staff shepherds are preparing to pioneer new ministries. At our CBF Christmas worship service last year, I was amazed as I realized that we had over 100 second-generation children. There's really nothing that I've done as a leader to raise this ministry. I'm not trying to be humble, but it is my true confession. The only thing I ever did was to remain in Him through the whole time. Even if I was absolutely despair in my heart, I kept the meeting as I had initially set them. Even if I felt like dying out of despair, I did not prepare for Bible studies or messages half-heartedly. I never hid myself in the mountains trying to find a special vision from God. I believe in serving God's ministry, whether it was a good or a hard day, without the emotional ups and downs. I gave my heart to remain in Jesus and his flock of sheep, and there was what I could always offer as an unable and dull servant. So I want to witness John 15:5 as my testimony of 40 years of my life as a shepherd. As I remained in Jesus, God sent wonderful co-workers. I wasn't even good at taking care of sheep, but God sent many loving and sacrificial shepherds in our ministry. I was not a shrewd manager. Every time we had to find a new place for our center building, I didn't know what to do. Shepherd Joshua Lee, Shepherd Stephen An, missionary Andrew Kim, now in Sudan, and Shepherd Elijah Kim worked on the project when the time would come for us to move. Material needs for managing churches and supporting missionaries overseas were met by sacrificial offerings from our sacrificial layman shepherds. When I remained in Jesus, he covered all my weaknesses. I am introverted and impatient. I easily worry since I am not so courageous. With such a character, I am quite unfit as a leader. However, as I remain in Jesus, he used my fearful character to have a holy fear of God. He also helped me to be faithful in always trying something, as I was introverted and full of worries. Most of all, he sent me many co-workers who helped me by covering my weaknesses. Jesus is our true vine. As I have lived Namsan, I pray that Namsan co-workers would find a new opportunity to plant themselves on Jesus' vine and remain in him rather than clinging to me. I also pray that I could go to the new place and renew my relationship with Jesus as I serve a new mission. I will participate in VC UBF, it's in Johannesburg, VC UBF Pioneering Ministry in Johannesburg, South Africa. I visited Africa once or twice each year for the last 20 years. Now I will be staying closer to our missionaries. I pray that I would be able to serve them better, rather than burdening them or becoming a hindrance to their ministry. I try to be able to give my full strength in Bible study and complete writing Bible study materials for all New Testament books. I also pray to be able to help African missionaries with their Bible study and message writing. I might have lived my life of faith in order to better serve the ministry until now. But I want to be able to re-examine my faith and newly learn the faith that pleases God. Also, I have mainly helped the leaders for a long time. I want to start finding new sheep and taking care of them in the new stage of my life. In order to do so, I pray that God may help me to be able to study English and overcome my fear of going to a foreign land. Thank you.